Grand Risings, everyone, and welcome to Be the Phoenix podcast, Soul Rise Talk. I am Brittiani, and I am live for you on another beautiful afternoon on another episode of the Divine Series of the Queendom Rebirth. And we've really tapped into our inner goddess and channeling and embracing the power of sacred voice and through our sacred bodies and temples, and we're going to keep that momentum going. We're going to keep that good vibe, that queendom vibe, keep going. And I have the honor and the privilege of inviting another queen, a divine sister of mine and dear friend, Madeline Olson, who is an oracle light worker and a master qigong or qigong master. There you go. Yes, 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 Queen. Thank you so
Hi.
much for being here.
Thank
Hello.
you. Thank you so much, Brittany, for having me. It is an honor to be here and to
Mhm.
share what this beautiful thing that you've created, this wonderful, safe, beautiful container of light. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Queen. And as we were talking just earlier, just again, thank you for giving your sacred yes and joining the Queendom and the Queendom Rebirth movement, where it is a season of the goddess empowerment. And the theme for this episode is we're still channeling into honoring our sacred body and temple, which we'll get into that more into the episode, of course. But it's really just acknowledging your inner light and being that pillar of light and knowing that you are the oracle. You possess all the answers and that divine light within. And everyone, how I met Madeline was through soul dance movement. So there's
Oh,
the trend of soul dance, and thank
yeah.
God, huge shout out to Scott and Maya again,
Yes.
just creating such a beautiful container of connection, of community. And you and I believe we met when I first joined the community. Is that
Yeah.
correct? Like,
Yes, absolutely.
yeah,
And
yeah,
we were, I think it was outside, and you used your beautiful, amazing voice. And I'm like, who is this powerful queen? Who is this?
yes,
And
yes, yes.
we've just stayed connected ever since. It's been a blessing. It really has.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, like when you go down the path of truth, the path of the soul journey of enlightenment, as you just ascend higher, you naturally align to beautiful divine souls. And again, like you are definitely one of those dear, dear friends that I
Oh,
call soul sisters, soul family. And
yes.
I really felt that when you came to me, when I performed, I believe it was the Halloween dance with Soul Dance,
Yes.
and you were all dressed up, and that's how we came together. And
That's right.
it was the Halloween dance.
Loved it. Love it.
Yes, yes,
Yes, that was beautiful.
and from that moment on, every time I saw you at the soul dances, I was like, oh my God, it just felt so good to just
Yes.
know someone, and to be able to connect instantly like that and just feeling that
Yes.
safe, like that safety and just that, again, just being heard, being seen, and just having a support where it was like, wow, like I felt that genuine love coming from you. So,
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely. Yep.
Mhm.
It was a super duper attraction of light attracting light.
Mhm.
And it's part of my soul's purpose. I want to uplift and empower as many people as I possibly can. That
Mhm.
is just one of the first main things that I'm really learning about myself in these past couple of years. That is part of my purpose is there is no one is alone. No one is
Mhm.
alone.
No,
And when you come into a new space, it can be a little, can be a little, where am I walking into? And I always want people to feel welcome wherever I am, always.
yes, 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 yes. And thank you. And you actually just naturally answered one of my questions. And I love that. And That's so beautiful. And I felt that with you. And I was like, yes, yes. And then when I started following you and everything, I was like, oh my goodness, she has a YouTube and she's pulling Oracle. And because I love Oracle. I love
Yes.
Oracle cards. I love Oracle guidance. I will say I love tarot. I do use tarot now as a intuition exercise for
Oh,
myself because I will say over the course of my journey, I did create some, I would say, unhealthy attachments to tarot cards and
uh,
wanting to know the answers outside of myself and tapping into energies that were not needed, where I felt
yeah.
you need to stay in your own lane, B, and it's better to not know. And
Yeah.
most and most of all, you do know. Why are you questioning yourself? Why are you going
Mm,
outside of yourself? Because spirit's going to keep bringing the same cards out too. So if you keep getting the same outcome, that's the definition of insanity of just trying to find different ways of, but you get the same results, you know? So,
yes. You were
yeah.
speaking my language on that one too, Brittany. I just
Yes. Mhm.
in coming to the Oracle for me, I've been doing Oracle for 7 years, and it's kind of funny. I've stayed away from Tarot,
Mm,
although that is on my list because that's one of the many things, always learning. But when I was introduced to the Oracle, I just happened to get a deck just um off of basically I follow Louise Hay and Hay House, and I'm huge into, of course, positive affirmations.
mhm.
But I saw this deck called Soul's Journey, and this was right when I was really starting to kind of come into my own and understand that I need to go within to find what's really there, to see my truth. And
Mm,
I had it, and a friend of mine, we were at a local metaphysical store, and we were waiting to go to a full moon ceremony. And she was like, "Can I do a card reading for you?" And I'm like, "Sure." And then she handed me the deck, and she's like, "Now you do one for me." And I'm like, "Oh no, I can't do that." And she's like, "Well, of course you can." And then she goes, "I bet you have an Oracle deck at home." And I'm like, "I don't think so." And then I came across the Soul's Journey deck by James Van Praagh. And I'm like, "Well, looky here." And then that's when I took off.
mm.
And it is what you're talking about. It is a validation that I needed. It is part of my journey in opening up and trusting what we're really seeing in those cards.
Right.
And like you, I was getting a little bit too attached to, that's why I started getting different decks, because I'm like, okay, let me mix it up. Let
Mhm.
me see, and let me understand how to actually use these. And
Mhm.
I did take some Master Oracle classes from Kyle Gray and really started to understand how I can utilize it for my healing, for my growth, and then share it with others if needed. So,
Yes. Hence your
we,
YouTube.
yeah, yes,
Mhm.
correct. And I started doing, I actually have backed off of them. I was doing them on each moon phase, a full moon, a new moon, and then in between those phases. And I started getting stressed out about them and
Mm.
started trying to rush and get there because, oh my gosh, I have to do it. It's the new moon, it's the full moon. And Spirit said, maybe you should step back from doing that. And so then I started doing my daily card readings because I pull a card every morning for myself because
Mhm.
I want to set the tone. It's my routine in the morning. Some people have in the evening. It's different for everyone. But for me, it's the morning. And I'm like, all right, I want to set the tone for myself and have that card available if I feel myself getting off my center. And
Mhm.
then I thought, what if I share it with others and just start to share it daily? So now I've kind of switched into doing the daily card reading, and it's just one card. And if I
Mhm.
feel moved to do one on around the moons, the different moon phases, then then good. Then I'm letting spirit guide me versus me feeling like it was a scheduled thing. And it started becoming what I consider the societal structure that I don't want to, I want to, get more into a soul flow, right?
Exactly. I was just about to say that. Yeah, you don't want to, especially I can relate being a double Virgo, my Virgo sun and moon. I am all about structure. So oh yeah, oh yeah. So you already know. So
I had
Queen,
no idea you were double, honey. I mean, I could see that Virgo with just us getting this all pulled together. I'm like, okay, I'm loving this, but wow.
yes. So I'm telling you. So when it was the same for me is with my podcast. I'm like, okay, I would always put out an activation on a new moon, full moon, same exact thing. And then it was like, okay, once I've reached to the lunar phase, I was like, oh, wow, like I'm really exhausted, like from these energies. And I'm supposed to show up today and do a voice activation. But God forbid if I don't show up, then I'm not showing up for everyone. And it was in those moments too where I had to give myself grace. And I was like, be like, you have so much to give and you're giving, you're showing up. But you also
Yes.
have to honor yourself too. If you are energetically exhausted, as we were just talking about, it's eclipse season. Mercury
Yes.
retrograde is coming into play. And I'm like, holy wow, how am I able to show up when my soul just wants to take a bath, to be honest,
Yes.
or, and just chant in the bath, just do things like that. And I just love how you were like, you know what, I'm no longer attaching to this anymore because
Yes.
you want it to be, as you said, a soul flow. You want it to come out organically where you're like, you're aligned, you're feeling centered, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to show
Yes.
up today. I'm feeling the channels within my vessel and I'm going to show up. And
Absolutely.
this is a soul downloads for today. And
Yes.
yes, so I absolutely love that. And I love that you've taken classes and just mentorship with Oracle
Mhm.
because to be honest, I just naturally just started gravitating towards it on my own.
Absolutely.
And I know you mentioned a couple of people. The people that have resonated me for the decks is Alana Fairchild.
Ooh,
I love all of her work, like
she is incredible. Yes.
The Isis deck. Isis was the first goddess that I was drawn to, the first Oracle deck.
Me too. I love a goddess Isis is I call on her every morning. She's part of the masters I call on.
Yes, yes, and Queen, by the way, you've answered like several questions of mine naturally, and I love
Oh,
it. So one of my
great.
questions, yeah, because I was really curious, like what your daily routine looked like for you. And I know you
Okay,
mentioned that you do Oracle each day
I
and you
do.
pull a card for yourself to help ground your energies for the day.
Mhm.
Is there anything else that you do for your soul nourishment?
I would love, actually, I would love to share what I do because it has taken so much time to cultivate. The more that I've really been concentrating on my spirituality. And it's kind of gone hand in hand with my Qigong studies. I'm almost done with the course. But there's a lot, it's called Neidan.
Mm,
It's part of Qigong, but it's not movement, it's meditations. And it kind of is in comparison to Kundalini yoga. You're doing
mm,
a lot of breath work, you're doing a lot of going in. But so I rise in the morning and, I get up and put on my Qigong clothes and come into my sacred space where I'm sitting now. And I first, of course, do my qigong, get my body moving a little, get some energy going. And then I sound my bowl, I light my candle on my altar,
mm,
and I call in the four corners, I call in my guides, and then I do some of my meditations. I have different ones that I follow, and then at the very end, I thank all my guides and I'm like, let me please, what do I need to know today? What do I need to know today? And it can run between, depending on right now, because I'm doing studies still, I have to do a lot of these different movements and practices, and it can be a 2 to 3 hour morning. But I tried my meditation time and where I'm really going within, it can run between, 45 minutes to an hour. And I also started doing more chanting and using my voice because I've what I've learned through you, and voice activation and opening that throat, right? So that's what I do, and even there's times where, I have to leave early or do something, then I will do, excuse me, even if it is just 15 minutes of connecting in.
Mhm.
And, it doesn't have to be like that every day, but the more I stay consistent and disciplined and devoted, the more it does open me up.
Right.
So
I
I
love
appreciate
that.
you asking.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, especially when I've been meeting with all these different queens, I've been asking, okay, what's your regimens? Like, how do you show up for yourself daily, on the daily? And I think it's really good for the community to hear that, to again know that they're not alone. And obviously, we are human beings, we are spiritual beings experiencing, though, a human experience, though, on this earthly plane. So it is okay when there are human emotions or experiences or things or
Yes.
setbacks that come into play in our daily. And I guess what my next question would be is, how do you deal with that? How do you create that proper balance where, you notice in the morning you're like, oh shit, like something just happened that you obviously
Yeah.
don't have control over. And it can
Right.
be any type of life experience, it can be personal, whatever it may be, and you're like, okay, this just cut my self-care routine in half today, where I literally only have 10 or 15 minutes to myself. So
Yep.
how do you do that? How do you harness that balance?
Yeah, it's kind of like you were just saying, how can I find sometimes somewhere? And um sometimes it is just going and stepping outside,
Mm,
and connecting with nature. This afternoon, I wanted to really be grounded and open for what we were going to be talking about. So I thought, okay, I'm going to put on my shoes and go for a walk around my neighborhood. Even though I
mhm,
love to drive to my beloved Lake Ackworth, where I go all the time, um, but sometimes it is just going and standing out on the front stoop
mhm,
and putting my hand on my heart and my hand on my belly and closing my eyes and connecting. We are a conduit of energy.
mhm,
And so you imagine, and we've heard this so many times, grounding in, your feet becoming roots and having Mother Earth support you and keep you connected, you
mm,
know? And the more with my Qigong studies, it is all about that and connecting to heaven and to earth. We
mm,
are that conduit.
yeah,
So there's a lot of times, I still have a day job, and there are times where I get flustered. I mean, it's life. So what do I step away? It has taken a long time for me to get in the habit of that versus just getting stuck into that drama, the trauma drama and all of that. But
mhm,
literally energetically taking my whole body and self out of it,
mhm,
even if it's for just a couple of minutes.
right. It's not
So
easy. It's not easy. It
no.
takes, it takes time to adjust to and to figure out
Yes,
your body. And that's where again I emphasize grace. You just continuously give yourself grace. Um,
that's it.
yeah, because I can relate, coming like juggling all these different energies, working, your day job, 9 to 5, whatever, matrix job, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
you're getting caught up in the energies that are playing out there. And then you're constantly almost in a battle in between having that center of, okay, I'm still present. I'm still in my divine
Yes.
truth. Because that was a big lesson for me was, even though I was no longer resonating with the externals of that daytime job, and I was like, I was still center in my truth. I was still present. Everyone that I associated with, everyone that was in contact with, I was giving them my full truth. And I
Yes.
think if you keep that strong and that light within you, that is what's going to cast out the darkness. It's going to keep you center. It's going to keep you purified and being self-aware. and just knowing and using that soul discernment and just,
Yes.
yeah.
Absolutely. That
Mhm.
you are so way ahead of the game, Brittany, because when I was your age, I was just going, and not connecting at all. And in the past 2 years, really, is where, and that is exactly key. We can still be our beautiful spiritual selves in any scenario we're in.
Mhm.
And that was a huge game changer just recently for me, that
Mm.
it doesn't have to be separate. I
Mhm.
can shine that light with whomever I come in contact with. They don't have to know all the particulars, that they don't know that I do oracles. They don't know any of that. That doesn't matter.
Right.
You and I know it's what is at the core. And
Mhm.
it is that beautiful, it stems from love. It's all about that love, that we are here. That's it. Going within and loving ourselves first. And once we start to do that, boy, do we not expand? Have we not been expanding, Brittany, I mean, it's incredible.
Yes, it is so incredible. And I honestly, I don't even realize that because I just recently interviewed Shanali, and she is
Yes.
older as well. And she had obviously, shout out to Shanali, beautiful
Yes.
wisdoms and whatnot. And that's what I resonate with you as well, is I still look at you as like a soul sister. I don't
Yeah.
realize that there's, maybe an age gap or whatever it may be. It's just that same soul resonance
Yes.
that we can identify with. And and why I was just so drawn to you. And I know you were saying in the last couple years, like things really shifted for you. So one of
Hmm.
my questions was, so when was your true like Phoenix moment on your journey? And I know we die and rebirth a lot. Okay.
All the
We're
time,
we are
right?
constantly evolving. We are
Yes.
constantly changing. But I would say, what was your one of your biggest
Oh,
Phoenix rise moments?
yes. So it was actually 2016. I was in a relationship. Now, I've just to kind of put it out there, because I want people to understand, I've never been married, I don't have children, and it doesn't matter either way. Everyone is different.
Mhm.
Um, and I did meet someone when I turned 40, and we became great friends. And then we we moved and got a house together, and I had never done that with anyone. So there was a lot of new experiences that I learned from the relationship. And me and him are still friends today. And he taught me so much. He taught me how to ride a dirt bike and go
Mm.
off road and all these wonderful things. But in 2016, things started to shift. I had injured myself on a motorcycle and had to have knee surgery. And a physical malady came up, a rash came up, and I'm like, what is this? And then they were like, here's the typical things we're going to throw at it. And I'm like, well, what's causing it? So I started going down the health route.
Mhm.
And in that, I went to an integrative doctor, and they said, hey, why don't you try this different type of therapy? And it opened me up. I mean, I've been practicing yoga at home for 25 years, but it opened up in this 2016 about the chakra system and our energetic system. And then I started eating differently and
Mhm.
becoming more healthy and learning that I have to clean from within.
Mhm.
And then end of 2016, the relationship I was in, he didn't want to go that way.
Mm.
So we split apart. And in 2017, I moved here and started really opening up and saying, oh, what is Reiki? Oh, what is this? And then I met my partner I'm with now, and he said, why don't you try Qigong? And I'm like, what is that?
Mhm.
And here we are 7 years later.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
learning about energy and
Mhm.
learning how to really honor this vessel from the
Mhm.
inside out.
Mhm.
And again, I'm friends still with people that don't really do the things I do
Hmm.
because we all are different, but we all have one common thing, and that is us being our true selves and our the love in our heart. I'm always going to go back to love. So
Mm.
2016 was a real big year for me. And before then I was, I was dancing and taking dance classes and doing things and doing yoga, but I wasn't really listening to my soul at that time.
Mm. Hmm. Yep.
So here we are.
Here we are 7 years later. And now you're
Yes.
you're really diving in deep with the qigong, and I love that. And honestly, I didn't. So that's actually one of my questions is what is Qigong? Why Qigong? Because I've been hearing
Okay.
it more and more now. And ever since
Yeah.
you started tapping into it, I was like, okay, this is obviously a thing. Excuse
Yeah.
me. And I'm into yoga. I love yoga as well. And
Yes.
I was really good at, like, I was practicing it each day. And I have been falling off. I had fallen
Okay.
off, and I acknowledged that. And I told Dale, I was like, you know what? I need to get back into yoga. I need to honor my hips. Like, after having a child, my body is not the same anymore. Um,
Yeah.
Regular exercise for me, like, I can't go to a
Mhm.
gym anymore because it's overworking my knees. Because I used to run track when I was young, in high school and all that.
Yeah.
And, dancing, of course, I love moving the energy. I love being in flow. And I've only tried out qigong like very briefly, like nothing like,
Right.
in depth. And so,
Right.
like, it's been a curiosity for me, and I just
Yeah.
love the fact that you are now diving in deep with your practice of it. So that
Yes.
is a genuine question of mine is, what is the importance of qigong, and why should us queens, why should us goddesses, or anyone really,
Yeah.
kings, etc., why should we implement something like that in our daily, in our livelihood?
Yeah. Qigong it is a branch of Chinese medicine. So as we know, we've heard of acupuncture and of course herbs and things of that nature. Just like in yoga, there's many branches of yoga. There's Ayurveda, there's movement, there's breath work. So it's the same with Chinese medicine. And Qigong is a medical, it was originally used as a medical use to help in someone's healing.
Mm,
So Qigong, Qi is energy.
mm,
And with Qigong, you're moving your energy. Now, you can do that by sitting in a chair. One of the reasons why it really resonated with me is because it's something anyone, any age can do. And there's so many different variations. And there also is in my next phase of this Qigong course I'm doing, we're going to be getting into Yin yoga. So
mm,
it kind of ties in with it as well. And the course I'm doing, it's called Yo Chi. And Marissa Cranville is the founder of Yo Chi. And she has a YouTube channel. That's where I found her. And the way that Qigong is there are certain ways where you don't have to really get too crazy. Yoga is wonderful. I still do yoga. I have to move my body as well. And asana is beautiful, but as we know, there's other parts. There's pranayama, all that work. So with Qigong, it's a similar thing. There's different ways, but we're not overstretching ourselves. It's effortless effort is what we're striving for.
mhm,
And you are getting more into the energetics of your body. And there are three major, what they're called dantians. There's one in your abdomen, there's one in your heart, and then one up here. So it's very similar to yoga and
mm,
our chakra system. So we are pulling in energies, we're getting rid of energies. The
mm,
way that I'm being taught in the Yo Chi is the 6 phases of Chi flow. So we're tuning in, we're purging, we're toning, we're
mm,
growing, and we're circulating.
ooh,
So it's a beautiful dance
mm,
of
mm,
learning and feeling our bodies. And it's very similar to Tai Chi. Tai Chi and Qigong go hand in hand. Tai Chi, there are certain movements. I don't know how many there are, but it's certain movements that you repeat over and over again. And you do that the same with Qigong. But it isn't, you're not strapped into a certain movement. You can create your own too.
Oh,
So it's, I'm really excited because there's so many things I want to create once I really get true groove qigong going. It's just, endless. There's endless possibilities.
yes, it's
So
just the
hopefully that
beginning.
explains it. Yes, yes.
Yes, not to cut you off, I'm sorry, but
No,
yeah, I was literally saying, yeah, it's just the beginning, and I love that. I really, really
yes,
that. And once you were putting out the points there, and you're like, wow, they really come in hand to hand, and especially like I practice Reiki, so I'm very familiar with Chi
yes,
energy, and I feel like the individuals out there that are familiar with the Chi energy already, and then again, they're familiar with that yoga practice, that basic
yes,
practice. I think it definitely creates a natural openness for people to just start venturing down that alley or that direction because
absolutely.
especially as a self-care tool and when you know and again when you really start to figure I call it the spiritual dictionary. When you really start to tap in your body, your triggers, your responses to overwhelmness or any type of dis-ease that will cause in your body, I think it's definitely essential to know and to use that soul discernment on how you can navigate through a tough situation, on how you can reclaim back your sovereignty as a
Hmm.
sovereign being and know and use that discernment of this is not mine. This energy does not belong to me.
Yes,
And you know what we're going to do is we're going to transmute this and we're going to Elsa that. And we are
abs
going to transmute it, but be able to, and obviously, like, even in my practices, even when I am getting rid of negativity of any shape, way, or form, whether that's patterns, whether it's physical, emotional, I always, I reclaim back my sovereignty and I allow it to be released, but also be transmuted into unconditional love.
yes,
Because as you said, as you emphasize love, that's what we want in the end is we want even the externals, even of those who are suffering, even we wish them love. We want them
yes,
to have that love and that healing from within and that self-awareness where we see them, we honor them, we aren't casting judgment on them, and I just feel like it's so powerful to have more people in the world open to that type of practice because like I said, then they're going to be able to know how to navigate through the daily, and
absolutely.
they're going to be able to center themselves and respond from a good, open, calm place, calm
That's it.
center. Because yeah, I'm like working out in gig world, gig life, and I see so many people out there that unfortunately are lost.
Yeah.
Especially like you can tell they have a lot going on within themselves. And
Hmm.
you'll realize that too. You'll be able to see it. You'll be able to see the
Uh-huh.
shadows. And then that's when you can be able to identify and be self-aware and be like, okay, I also will not take this personal as well. This has nothing to do with me. This has
Yeah.
everything to do with any
Right.
inner world. Your inner world is a reflection of your outer world. So when I
Yes.
see circumstances happening in someone's external, I'm like, okay, they're obviously going through it.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm so excited for you and I'm so excited. I know you mentioned your page, so you just launched your
Yeah.
qigong page. What was that? The True
Oh yeah.
Groove.
It's
Yes.
true groove qigong because I
Yes.
have to get some kind of, my funk and groovy self. I am definitely from that background. But the one thing you're touching on here that I wanted to mention too, Brittany, is that as much as I have practiced yoga, and now that it has really kind of really come in is to myself, is that, Qigong helped me understand how I connect with my body. Like
Mhm.
before, I'm just doing the movements, I'm doing what the instructor's doing. Okay, I'm doing down dog. And instead of really intentionally understanding what is my body feeling, And with Qigong, it's a slower movement.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, okay, what is that? And it is basically kind of bringing in, you're bringing in the Reiki with it because you're feeling something that you can't really see,
Mm-hmm.
but it's there. And the more that we do move and become more aware and come from that heart space, that love, then
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, okay, this person, yes, has a lot going on. And that's an excellent point. It is not mine. It is not mine. And
Mm-hmm.
not taking it personal. That has been a huge game changer for me in just the past couple of years, too.
Yeah.
And why am I feeling this way? Why is my body, I noticed that with certain situations at my job. I'm like, oh, here comes my body again, reacting as I used to.
Mm.
So let me step away and say, no, 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 body. I know that that's a habitual pattern. So let's stop that.
Right.
And
Yep. You tell
it's
yourself not today.
yes, yeah, not today. No, thank you. No, not today. Okay.
Yeah.
So it is
Yes.
it you're so right on with just all these. It's just so wonderful to hear someone else be like, that's not yours.
Yeah.
That's theirs.
Mm-hmm.
I have to
And you
take on
remember.
everything.
Yeah, and you remember who you are. That's when I'm like, you just
Yes.
remember who you are and you have the ultimate power to be able to allow in what you want and what you don't want, what you simply will not have, And you do it
Yes.
with love though. There's no ego behind it. It really, and I say this all with love. Yes, my diva-ness comes out and my queen comes out when I say that, but it really is with the utmost love and unconditional love. Because like I
Yeah.
said, it just that was a huge lesson for me. Oh my goodness. That was just such a huge lesson for me to not take things personal.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it's hard, but I would say too, and you were describing it when you were catching yourself in past patterns, past conditioned ways, and just like trauma responses within
Hmm.
your body. I would say, that's usually when that comes into play, your higher self is tuning in. That inner
Yes.
voice is coming into play, and your highest self is now coming into light and being like, oh no, queen, we don't need to
Yes.
be. It's that inner voice of
No. I
queen.
know, right?
Hey,
No, just
queen.
yes.
So, and that was actually one of going into my next question is how would you describe your higher self, especially in
Ooh.
those moments, or just in general?
Oh, that's another thing that I have really been so grateful for this past year. And even, we had their Soul Dance had, one of their evening concerts, and I think it was Dea Dova.
Mm,
Um, and we were all supposed to come as what I was seeing as our inner self, right? Our higher self.
mm-hmm,
And before that, I was doing these different meditations and really starting to see and connecting with my inner child and all that. And I'm like, oh, my higher self is joy,
mm,
joy personified, a
mm-hmm,
bright, sunny day, a beautiful daffodil yellow flower,
mm-hmm,
um, very electric, um, and energetic.
mm,
But when I was thinking, what am I going to dress up at? What am I going to wear? And I'm like, oh, okay, well, if you take my skin off, I'm kind of like a disco ball. You take the skin off, and it's just a disco ball shining
mm.
around because
Yeah.
I love me some disco music and I have some disco balls here in the house. All right. So I'm like, I'm just going to dress up as like, a divine disco ball.
Mm,
And, unfortunately, I didn't make it to the concert, but it just really, and so now when I do see myself, I see, because we're all light bodies.
mm-hmm,
And there's a little bit of purple in there too, because that's one of my favorite colors. But I also see myself as just a wonderful joy bringer. I have that, I think, in my Instagram is that I'm a joy bringer, and you are too. And there's a lot of us out there. And
Mm-hmm.
I was snuffed as a kid, no, 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 calm down. That's too much. You're too much.
Mm-mm.
You need to
Never.
calm down, the societal patriarchal stuff. No, no. And, finally, once I got out on my own, I was like, well, too bad. If you don't like that I'm too much, then you can go somewhere else. And so
Yes.
my higher self is it's just a bright disco ball with some yellow and purple in there, but in really embodying though that it's all love. It's all
Mm-hmm.
love and joy there, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
It
yes.
is.
And I remember that. I do remember you posting pictures of you all dressed up, by the way. So yeah, the visuals totally came back when you were talking about it. And oh my goodness, I remember that. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it to that concert either. But I loved seeing the pictures of everyone's like version or just idea of what their highest self
Beautiful.
looked like. And I would say my favorite, of course, Maya. I loved
Oh,
her
wow.
whole oh my goodness, her whole
That was
again,
amazing.
Maya, again, another quick shout out to her. We love you,
Yes,
queen.
Goddess Maya,
I
goodness,
know. And you
queen
know what?
extraordinaire.
She may be joining the Rebirth series as well. So, I mean,
Good.
I keep speaking of her, and we're gonna speak it out into existence. So
Yes, we
here
are.
we are, Queen. And no, but she was just such a beautiful vision, and how she just was able to harness that because just in her outfit, her dress, and
Yes,
everything just gave Maya vibes. Like it was
it
completely
did.
her. It was completely her own. And I just love that. And I loved the way that, again, like you described yours, is the disco ball and just being vibrant, just being joyful. And I
Yes.
absolutely love that. And so your disco self just comes into play each time, that inner voice, and be like, hey, queen, you be shining your light. Keep
That's
shining. Keep
right.
shining. Keep
That's
shining,
right.
queen.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, you don't need the haterade. Keep going,
No,
queen.
that's right. That's right.
Keep flowing with
Exactly.
it, queen.
Keep
Yes,
keep
keep going.
twisting that beautiful, just keep twisting around that beautiful mirror ball. Just keep
Yes.
turning.
Yes, and I love how it all connects with your handle, the True Groove Qigong, and the
Yes.
truth is in your groove and in your essence and in the beautiful disco ball queen that you are, and I
Yes.
just the radiance. Yes.
Yes. I'm still trying to come up with basically how I want that to look. And there's going to be disco ball in there somewhere,
Yes.
I'm going to be when I really start to get that going. There's going to be some disco ball. There's going to be some type of disco qigong going on. All right. I'm just saying.
I
Okay.
I love it. I love it. And I am so proud of you. I am so excited for you. And I can't wait to be back into town and be able to experience your works, your gift, your offerings. And honestly, Madeline, I've said it and I'll say it again, like, I really, really cherish and honor just knowing you and coming across like each other in our journeys and our paths. And it is definitely a dream of mine for us to come together and to create together and to share your
Yes.
gifts and to create connection and community, not only with the queens out there, but even the males, even the divine masculines.
Yes.
And creating that community of honoring the divinity within ourselves, the dualities of each other. And I am just so, so excited to see what's in store for us. um so yes,
There
yes, yes,
is.
yes, yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. So I'm just super, super excited, just again with everything that you're doing. And I know that you have an event coming up with your Qigong. Is that correct? Do you have
I
some?
do actually. I'm
Okay.
actually where I live in Ackworth, in downtown Ackworth. I get adjusted regularly at my local chiropractor's office, and she has been so kind in letting me start to get my feet wet and getting myself out there. So I'm teaching once a month at Ferguson Chiropractic in Ackworth. So I'm teaching tomorrow night from 7 to 8, and it's by donation. And I'm going to be doing a spring equinox Qigong flow. So it'll be so wonderful. I mean, I'm really excited about it. And the more that, I get out there and practice, the more comfortable I get with it because I'm still learning. But it's all in just moving our energy together. And and I know when our lights shine out, it's going to attract the same beautiful light. So yeah, so I'll be doing that. And I'm doing in May, it's a 4-day, What's Your Rhythm? It's a dance and drumming immersion type thing that my friend's doing. And I'll be doing some Qigong 2 mornings to get everyone warmed up. So, it's slowly but surely unfolding, right? The flower
Yes.
unfolds slowly but surely.
Yes, it is unfolding, Queen. I love that for you, and I am so, so excited. So, yes, yay. That is so amazing. And so, where can people obviously keep tabs with you and,
Sure.
these events that you're talking about? Where can they follow you?
Yeah, so I have, of course, a True Groove. It's true.groove.qigong on Instagram. And then you can also follow me on Madeline Olson. That's Olson. And that is also on Instagram and Facebook. I have True Groove Qigong on both of those handles. And then I do have just my Madeline Olson YouTube channel. And right now I'm getting ready to kind of revamp my channel. But right now I have all of my daily card readings, and I do have like a separate little folder for my True Group Qigong. I've been putting up some little small practices. I probably have like 10 actual Qigong practices that are 15 minutes to 45 minutes. So once I really get up and running, I'm going to eventually just have a True Group Qigong YouTube page, but we're still kind of working all that out.
Yes, I love that. And like I said, it's all the beginning and you're doing
Yes.
your thing. Yeah, so I am just so so proud of you. So so proud, sister. So you keep doing your thing,
You.
keep showing up. It's such an inspiration to the world. Just having your light on here and like I said, your divine wisdoms is so beautiful to just witness, to experience, and I am honored. So thank you, thank you, thank
I
you.
am honored to be here. Thank you so much. Your light is
Mhm.
so bright as well, Queen, and I am grateful for our connection and for you reaching out to me. I really was taken back. I was like, oh my gosh, really? So,
Yes.
you inspire me all the time,
Mhm.
my sweet.
Thank you. And it's 333 here as we are saying all of this. So I just love that we're on wizard time and
That's right.
yes, spirit, our ancestors, our guides are cheering us on and they're like, "Yes, queens, yes."
No,
They're like,
yes.
"Yes, Q queen, go queens, go." And I just freaking love it. So, yes. Okay. So my last question for you, and I think you were almost going to mention it earlier, but I wanted to know a little more in
Okay.
depth. And then we'll move into a little treat that you have for us.
Okay.
What guy or what goddess or queen has really resonated for you on your
Mm,
journey?
okay. Well, first, of course, we were talking about that earlier. The goddess Isis,
Mm,
absolutely. And in some of my oracle decks, she is represented.
mm,
And she represents to me rebirth. And in actually the goddess oracle, power oracle deck I have, she's the number 25, and I was born on the 25th.
mm,
And I love the number seven too. So 2 plus 5, that's 7. But she kept coming up in all of my different card pulls. If I do a weekly card pull, and I'm like, okay, she's coming in. All right. And I do have a spiritual mentor I meet with every month. And it's been revealed because a lot of us have been in different types in different lifetimes. And we've all have an Egyptian life, and if not many, but she really resonated with me. And just recently, the goddess Kuan Yin, of course, the goddess of compassion, she is someone that and learning about her story and how she became the goddess, and just who cannot love someone, all about bringing compassion. And it ties in, of course, to my Qigong studies and feeling more connected.
Mm,
But this last one has just recently come in last year, and it is Mary Magdalene. If
mm,
anyone is familiar with her, and I got a book and started reading about her, and then I just got a deck. And I have felt so many downloads and so much wisdom from her. And it is the same thing that we're talking about, the love from within. That's
mm,
what she was all about.
mhm,
And I am a believer that she was the soulmate to Jesus, to Yeshua.
mhm,
They were together. They were divine masculine and feminine personified. And that's what I feel she's bringing to us,
mhm.
to connect the divine masculine and divine feminine. That's the time now. That's where we are.
I love that. I love that. I literally, when we were chatting with each other, and as I was processing the different questions that were just coming up naturally to ask you, I had a feeling that Mary was one of them. I just got that vibe. And because she is definitely tapped into my energetic field. And Isis honestly was the same as you, was the first goddess that kept showing up, and I was
Yes.
super resonant with her, and I do highly believe in past lifetimes, especially, with, like, I want to go to Egypt. My soul, like, that is a place that I want to
Mm,
be, because
yeah.
I just feel like there's so much more that I'm not aware of. There's so
Yeah.
much more soul depth and soul downloads yet to experience and
Yes.
embody. So I feel like that time will come for us, Queen, where we will be
Yep,
able
it
to
will.
go to the Egyptian lands and really tap in and feel Isis presence, there. And I think that's so awesome, because
Yeah.
I highly resonate with her as well. And
Yep.
Mary Magdalene, I do believe that as well. Shakti, Shiva, the divine counterpart,
Yes.
yeah, the godly deity, like, archetypes, where they come
Yes.
into play with the counterparts. And I do highly agree with you, where I do feel that Mary Magdalene was the true counterpart and beloved of Jesus,
Yes.
Jesus
Yes.
Christ, you know.
Yeah.
So yep, I highly, and, even when I tapped into Isis, her beloved was Osiris. And so
Yes.
yeah, so I really was resonant with her journey, just her story. And for those of you that don't know, that can be a whole nother episode conversation for another time. A whole nother topic. So definitely, if you feel pulled to any of these goddesses that we are calling out, that we are speaking of, definitely do some Google, do some research. If your heart is guiding you there, it's guiding you for a reason. So just take in the soul downloads, the wisdoms, and just flow and go from there. But that's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And just thank you, just again, for sharing just your beautiful light. And like I said,
Yes.
you really emphasized just the overall theme of what I said, of what I wanted for this episode, was you are the oracle. You
Yes.
are
You
the
are.
pillar of light. You are a divine being. You hold so much wisdom and all the answers from within, and never seek outside of yourself. But I always, like I said, I really wanted to open the space to the queens and switch things up moving forward, of y'all
Yeah.
being able to share with the world your actual gifts. And
Yeah.
I am so honored, to learn and know that you have a card or oracle reading for us today. And I'm
I
really
do.
looking forward to what's coming through, what's coming in.
Yes.
Yeah. So whenever you're ready, Queen,
Okay.
we can go and
Okay.
flow right into that. Yeah. What do you have
Okay,
for us?
great.
Yes.
All right. So I just did a three-card pull. So um, the first card is, what do we need to know for our highest good? And it is this is from the Goddess Power Oracle deck, okay, by Colette Baron Reed. And it is an extremely powerful deck for anyone who's really wanting to tap into their goddesses. And of course, what's going to resonate with you will fall in your lap when if you're interested in Oracle. So the first card is the goddess Epona of wise leadership. Now, she is the horse goddess, and she is bringing in what do we need to know for our highest good? That what we've been talking about this whole episode,
Mm,
the wisdom within, right?
mhm,
So, and so the next card kind of parlays or falls, comes right into play with that is what do we need to manifest for our highest good? And it's the goddess Green Tara, and
mm,
she is a goddess of salvation
mm,
and knowing again, we have the power to bring whatever we want into our lives. We
mhm,
do. And then, what is the potential outcome if we continue to look within ourselves, trust what we're hearing from that little tiny voice,
mhm,
and knowing that we are our own salvation? And it is the goddess Branwen, the goddess of forgiveness. And
mm,
forgiveness is a big one. We all struggle with how we forgive. And it can be just easily saying, I forgive myself and I forgive others, and that being it. Because that holding on to any of that isn't going to help us learn and come back into our wise selves, right? So it's a beautiful thing. And I always look at the bottom of the deck just to see what the overall feel is. And it's the goddess of the sun, Yahai. So we are bringing in all of this light with what we've been talking about today.
mm,
And Brittany, you are very, very representative of the goddess Yahai. You really are.
mm,
You are such a light. And it is an honor to be here with you and you giving me wisdom and learning from you, because that's what it's all about. We learn from each other, right?
mhm, mhm. We
And
empower
I'm so
each other.
grateful. Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
grateful.
Mhm. Those are such beautiful cards.
Yeah, of
Thank you. Thank you so
course.
much, Queen. Thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you
Thank
for that
you.
divine channeling through the
Yeah.
goddess, the Queen herself, Madeline Olson. Thank you. Thank you. Yes,
Thank you
yes,
so much,
yes.
Brittany.
Absolutely. It is just such a treat. I love just having you queens come into the space. It just feels so good, and I'm just so happy to be here and for us to be able to, be the lights for each other and,
Absolutely.
share our truth. Yeah, because that's what this platform is all about is share your light, share your truth. You are seen, you are heard, you are
Yes.
respected, you are honored, you are protected, and you are supported. So,
Yes.
yes, yes,
Thank
yes,
you so
yes. Aho, cute, cute,
Oh,
cute. Yes. Cute for me and cute for you. And y'all,
yes.
again, Madeline Olson, you can follow her on her handles as it is True Groove Qigong. And then
Yes.
your name itself is that's your personal. And then
Yes.
I'll actually provide all of that in the
Great.
description below. So
Okay.
everyone can just, if you want to stay in tuned and follow her and her Qigong and her Oracle. Also, I know you mentioned that you kind of took a little break on YouTube, but is that still obviously active where people can follow you?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. I'm
Okay.
putting up my daily card readings every day on YouTube. So yeah,
Oh,
it's up there.
beautiful. Beautiful,
Yep.
beautiful. So, y'all heard it. So, if you enjoyed her wisdoms, her light, definitely follow her. Go on her YouTube, follow her handles, and know that we are here for you, that you're not alone, that you are supported. Again, that
Absolutely.
yes, you are the
Sorry.
light, you are the truth, and follow your heart, follow your inner voice, and know that you're never alone. So, again, Thank you, Madeline. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank
And
you so
thank
much.
you, divine listeners, for tuning in. Thank you for all the love and the support and supporting the rise. And we will see you next time. Take care and ciao for now.